Well, hello all. This is Cass Terry. Welcome back. If you've been to my other chapters, 1, 2, or 3, welcome to Chapter 4. If you've not been to those, welcome to Chapter 4 anyway. And in the first 3 chapters, we focused on sort of giving historical details all the way from the first School of Pharmacy up to the present time, how the number of pharmacy schools has increased. Well, everything has increased. The population, the number of stores, the number of retail stores, particularly the number of retail chain pharmacies, such that Walgreens, I think, has been always the biggest of the retail chain pharmacies and probably the most efficient, too, in terms of prescription handling and portability. But then there's CVS, Target, and others. Walmart is number 6. I think it runs on the number of pharmacies from Walgreens to CVS to Target, and then that's number 3, and then Walmart is number 6. And we talked about that in previous chapters about the ratios of pharmacists to the number of per store, and how Walgreens had almost precisely 2 pharmacists per store, and CVS and Target and Walmart had more than one number, and I mean by that I mean more than between 1 and 2, 1.7, 1 point, etc., 6. So now that we've sort of gone through the salad days, as I call them, to the days of unhappiness, particularly with the retail chain pharmacists, because they're overworked, they don't have a life, and there's a lot of disgruntled pharmacists out there nowadays. Well, and actually there's a lot of unemployed pharmacists out there nowadays, because the schools have increased from 1 to 193 or so, and that has caused a surplus of pharmacists to the point that there's going to be unemployed pharmacists. And that's a tragedy, because it never used to be that way. And of course, pharmacy is becoming more of a commodity than it ever was in the past. And so many things are happening. So I've talked about all of those. Now I want to talk about, I entitled it Old Life or New Life. And I raised the question, is my personal life on hold? And I have developed this little quiz here from all the interviews I've done. It's called the Quality of Life Quiz for Pharmacists. And let me just give you a brief version of it here. It's 10 questions. You have to ask yourself, am I, do I, or can I? Am I frustrated and miserable working full-time for a chain retail pharmacy? Do I have the time on the job to be an excellent or a mediocre pharmacist? Do I have the time to be a great mom, or am I a mediocre mom? Am I neglecting something that is truly important to me? Not necessarily neglecting, but just don't have the time for it. Do I have the time to relax and have fun with my children? Do I have time to keep up with the pharmaceutical literature? Can I imagine doing this for the rest of my life? Can I afford to pay my school loan? Can I afford to take a family vacation? Can I afford to pay my mortgage? Am I going to be doing this for the rest of my life? Those are things you have to listen to and try and answer. And it's interesting, the loan, school loan, it's for doctors also, and in psychology. Everybody can get a school loan nowadays. They don't look to the future about how much it's going to cost to pay off. I remember in the days when I was in pharmacy school, my father particularly paid my tuition. So I never had a school loan. I did in medical school, and that was a major problem, but in pharmacy school I graduated without owing a penny. Not anymore nowadays because it's too expensive. So after you've asked yourself those questions and answered them in your mind, I'd like to ask you to take the time to think about your hopes, your goals, and your dreams. And then say to yourself, what about a career change? Could that be in the future for me? Well, yes, the answer should be yes to that. It always should be yes, I hope. Can I work at home and be with my family? The answer to that, at least in my world, is absolutely yes, you can. And you don't have to be doing pharmacy at home because there's issues with that, particularly with the Health Information and Privacy Act and the Health Information Portability Act, HIPAA. So working at home can be a problem if you're working at pharmacy, but there are other ways to work at home where you don't have to worry about HIPAA and you can make equal, if not more, money with less work. So can I work part-time on a relief basis at a pharmacy? Absolutely you can, and that's probably what you'd want to do. I mean, you still want to stay in the pharmacy, don't you? Most people do, not all, and I'm going to tell you the story about one coming up by the name of Brad, but the answer is yeah, you can work part-time if you can find the right place to do it. And here's one that only you can answer. Should I take a chance on this change? Only you can answer that. My answer would be, yeah, definitely, if the quality of your life is so unpleasant, yes, you can take a chance. You don't have to put everything down on the table. You don't have to bet the whole thing, but just take a portion of it and bet it. If successful, can I quit my main job or my day job and make a better life? And the answer is absolutely, without question, you can. So, let me give you a few examples of people that I've either read about or know about personally. I'm going to just talk about the first one here. Her name is Cassandra. And here are a few encouraging words from her, what she's doing. She says, after working for 5 years as a pharmacist, working in community, hospital, and compounding pharmacies, after trying everything and working as a manager to the point of an offer as an owner, I made the choice that pharmacy, community pharmacy, was not for me. So what did she do? She took and entered a master's program of public health, specializing in children's and indigenous health, which she is finding very exciting. So she offers, I was wondering if any other young pharmacists have thought about changing their career paths and moving within the health industry or leaving it completely, which is what I suggested up on top here. Do the higher numbers of pharmacists and lower pays, harder to get jobs, make it less attractive career? Of course they do. Would you recommend a profession of pharmacy to others? Many people say answer that with a no. Now let's look at another person. This person I know, he's a PharmD. He lives in the same state I do. He's from Iowa, and Brad's sort of my brother. And I like Brad very much. He's a very smart guy, PharmD from University of Iowa, and he's married to a pharmacist also. He has 2 children. He now lives in Arizona, and let me just quote a few lines from his story. He's a great internet marketer now. He's very, very successful. He says, yeah, I got my super sexy Doctor of Pharmacy degree from the University of Iowa in 2006. This is his style, so it's not my style necessarily, but it's his. He says, I moved out to sunny Arizona, took a job with Walgreens as a professional pill pusher, hated it with a passion, freaked the bleep out. How the hell was I going to do this for the next 35 years of my life? Was the question that kept replaying in my head every morning when I made the drive in the horrendous 10 or 12 hour shift that awaited me. That's Brad. He's made a whole new life for himself, very successfully, by the way. And the last example I want to is Cindy. Cindy is from actually, I think she's University of Illinois in Chicago, and she now lives in California. She's now married out there with her husband who's in partnership with her. Let me read you what Cindy says. She says, in May of 2000, I graduated from the University of Illinois in Chicago. I didn't know the challenges awaiting me in the pharmacy world, which school never prepares you for the real life changes you face as a retail pharmacist. Does that sound familiar? In August of that year, meaning the year that she graduated, I worked for Walgreens. Within 2 months, I felt stuck and unhappy with a job I disliked. And I'm not picking on Walgreens by any means. I think of all the chain pharmacies, it's the most successful one. Admittedly, all of the chains I worked for, Walmart was my favorite. Because I'm going to put that in there, because Walmart had no drive-through pharmacies. Drive-through pharmacies can cause a lot of stress, believe me, particularly when you're busy inside the store and the buzzer keeps going off through the drive-through. And some stores have 2 drive-throughs, so you get a double buzzer. They closed on Sundays and were open on other days from 9 to 7. So she was home by 7:30. That was Walmart. She liked that the best of all the chain pharmacies. But then she said, I needed to make more changes. I prioritized my personal life and decided to work less. I saw so much unhappiness. Plus, I've experienced my own unhappiness in the chain pharmacies. So not only did she see unhappiness, she experienced it. So you have to ask yourself the following questions. What about a career change? Can I work at home and be with my family? Can I work part-time or on a relief basis at a pharmacy? Should I take a chance on this change? If successful, I can quit my main job, my day job, and make a better life. If you answered yes to at least one of these questions, then explore the possibilities ahead for you. I ask you to please do that. Improve your life. My goal is to get you to improve your life. So go to Chapter 5. It doesn't cost anything to explore the possibilities. And if you choose to go ahead, it only costs $25 to get started. That's a deal. If you hear that in the background, that's my dog wanting to go out. So see if it's a fit for you. Give it a try. It doesn't cost much. And you don't have to give up anything to start out. All you have to do is read about it. It doesn't cost anything. And then if you want to start out, it only costs $25 to get started. So I look forward to seeing you in the next blog. Thank you very much. It's been enjoyable. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.